What is up, everyone? It is that time again. It is Vito and the Brand Pro Wrestling Planet Podcast, Vito TV simulcast. Vito, what's up, my man? It's Wednesday.
You know what that means.
Boom.
We're reviewing Dynamite, baby.
That's what we do.
Another great Dynamite in the books.
A great Dynamite, Vito. Definitely a solid show. Before we get into all that, though, there is a couple topics I wanted to throw at you real quick. It's been a tumultuous week in the world of wrestling.
It has.
I don't know if we want to talk about the Jeff thing later when we go into the match, but
yeah, let's get through some happy thoughts, and then we'll sink ourselves down to that, and then we'll go back up from there.
Yeah, no, I definitely wasn't sure exactly how we would approach this. AEW approached it just by like completely ignoring it.
they Chris Benoit right through that.
Yeah. But that is what it is. We are reviewing AEW Dynamite for June 15th, 2022. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel here, which is on Vito TV. If you're watching it on YouTube.
That's right.
If you're seeing us on YouTube, we're on Vito TV. Now,
my channel.
If you want to be sexy about it, you can go to PW Planet or Spotify or whatever. PWPlanet.com has all the links. But, follow us on there. I
personally listen to it on Spotify.
I'm a fan. You got to love the Spotify action.
Yeah.
Endorsed by Vito.
That's right.
So there we go.
And I'm not getting paid by Spotify either. Just
not yet.
Freelance.
Not yet.
Freelance.
We will get there soon. Eventually, we'll have ads on this thing, and I guess just to thank you for to the listeners for being early to the party, as it would be. But Vito, we've been setting trends, man. Stuff that we've we'll get this. We'll get into this as we go on and toot our own horn a little bit here and there, but we just kind of predict everything on this podcast, on this video series here.
Small spoilers. Something came up tonight that I most certainly did not predict, but we'll get to that later.
Couple of those things.
On this first match.
Road Rager.
Oh,
we can't forget. This is Road Rager. I love it.
I didn't even write that down. I totally forgot that.
I love
Thank
it
you for remembering.
When they give these shows these like sub names. You know what I mean?
These are special Dynamites.
Right, exactly. It makes it a little more special.
Road Rager.
I dig it. Road Rager, in the past they had the whatever it was, the beach thing.
Beach break.
Yeah, beach break. There you go. And that, that different stuff. But this is Road Rager, St. Louis, historical wrestling town. So, of course, they kind of know what's up with the product, which was refreshing to see because, like, last week they were in Kansas City or something like that. And it's just, they were totally like a town that's not really town. Right. You could tell that they really weren't a crowd that kept up on the product, but this crowd seemed like they did. Well, Vito, this first match, we kicked it off with Jericho versus Ortiz.
The Wizard.
The hair versus hair match.
The Wizard, Chris Jericho.
And
you mess around with Chris Jericho, he will throw a fireball in your face.
I saw something. I saw a funny tweet or something like that where someone was just saying that like Jericho should just dump the group and just go full wizard, grow a huge beard and just be like
Gandalf the Grey.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
I could see it.
Yeah. And we had Regal on commentary. Don't forget about that. He was on one.
Regal comes out to do commentary.
Did he say that Excalibur was delicious?
He could have, my thoughts about this type of stuff, Vito. you know how I'm like, you know, it's fine if the guys want to come out and do commentary, but a lot of the time it's just like complete anarchy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a fan of it in
He makes
particular.
Tony Schiavone talk less. Doesn't that make you happy?
Well, that is nice, yes, and you know, it's good to hear Regal's voice. I mean, he is a natural. He knows how to do the. Um, he knows how to fit in there better than like Adam Cole's kind of awkward when he does it. I don't know. Anyway, I can
Yeah.
go on and on about this, but
I'm a fan of it, but I like the wrestling perspective where
it
wrestlers
depends.
go out there. Yeah.
It depends. Regal's
Um,
fine. Regal's fine at doing it, I suppose.
there's something that I noticed that you have a problem with. Uh, Jericho did not stop the crowd singing the song today. He
Yeah,
let it
I
ride
was
out,
gonna mention that.
showed appreciation. Yeah.
I was gonna mention that. You know, he lets the song play. It's fine. I think at this
It
point
doesn't
now,
sound fine, Brand.
you know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, they didn't stop it this time, but apparently he just kind of wanted to hear it play through. And, you know, the sing along wasn't that loud. You know, people were kind of like, should we sing
No.
along or shouldn't
Yeah.
we? And, you know, it wasn't like as loud as it
Almost like he
usually
was
is.
chasing the hug.
You know, I don't know. There was some
That's a
things
Bully Ray statement. I learned that on from Bully Ray, by the way, chasing the hug.
chasing the
Busted
hug.
open. Yeah.
Enlighten me on this. I have not heard
This
this expression.
it's like trying to get your flowers.
Okay.
It's like you're doing things to trying to get acknowledgement. Chasing the hug. Um, but I
I
noticed
can
that
see that.
Kingston was out late. Uh, not 100% out late, but before um uh it was Ortiz, sorry. Before Ortiz had got to the ring, like right before he got to the ring, Kingston came out. He wasn't out there like he wasn't out there with him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Did you notice that?
He came out to head off because the whole Jericho group, or
Well, he
basically
was
the
out
whole
there
group, was
during
out
the
there.
match. Yeah, Kingston was out there during the match, but he came out there like after Ortiz had almost got to the ring is when Kingston like slowly meandered his way out there. It was just
Uh,
kind of awkward. I figured he'd come out there with him, but he waited like a good minute, I think. It's kind of just weird. Something I noticed is weird.
he does. You know, it could have been a missed cue for real, kind of a thing, or it could have been just like Kingston just doing something weird just to do it,
Yeah.
kind of a
Never
deal.
know with him.
He's kind of a wild card.
I've seen him do a promo on a bag of chips one time.
See, there
It
you
was
go.
impressive.
There you go. Was it Hook's bag of chips, possibly, or no? This was prior.
No, it was
Oh,
on
okay.
BTE. I
All
don't
right.
know. I don't know when it was.
All right.
They're basically like every week Eddie Kingston would do a promo on something else. But
I'll have to check those out. Now Ortiz shines right away, kicking Jericho's ass. Takes it to the outside. They get back in and do some stuff. Jericho takes over. He attempts a Rana from the ropes, but Ortiz counters it into a power bomb.
yeah, that power bomb was it almost looked bad. It almost was bad, but
It
it
could
turned
have
out
been
pretty solid.
yeah, could have
Yeah,
ended
it
up a
was
broken neck, but
it was scary for a second, but I'm like, ooh, that worked out pretty good. I liked it. Yeah.
Well, Ortiz gets the near fall. Jericho, he hits a suplex off the apron. That looked pretty devastating. And we'll go to commercial. During the commercial is when the Jazz gets involved. And Kingston out there, I couldn't really tell what was going on. People were talking. It was kind of crazy, but, they were doing their thing. Just again, a personal preference of mine, too much of this stuff, I think, kind of muddies up things a little bit.
What's that?
just when like all the dudes are like outside,
Oh yeah.
you know.
I think that's why they didn't have all his guys out there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
So, but we do get back from the commercial. Jericho is back in control. Ortiz fights back. They get into a chop battle. They're chopping.
They're chopping.
And Ortiz hits a cutter on a
That
hanging
was
Jericho
beautiful.
from the cut from the corner.
Yeah, a draping cutter.
A lot of interesting cutters tonight. There's a few.
A little bit of everybody does that cutter.
Jericho did this. Osprey did he went for like a
Off cutter.
Yeah, which who did it for? Did Cody steal it from him or he steal it from Cody? Who came up with this move originally? Do we know?
The off the middle rope cutter.
Well,
I think it's an Osprey. I think Osprey did it before Cody.
okay. Well, makes sense to me.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah. Could be. I mean, that's what I would guess, but
okay. So, Ortiz. I don't know where you're at in this match when you're explaining, but Ortiz goes
right
for a
after
middle
that cutter.
rope spin thing.
Right.
Okay, you saw that?
Yeah.
He goes like a springboard off the middle turnbuckle rope.
And then Jericho goes into a code breaker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He
it.
Just
right after he misses that.
Yeah.
So he goes, and I don't know if he's going for a crossbody or if he's going for something. I don't know, but he has no chance of hitting it the way he jumps. Yeah, I think it's a blown spot. It was ugly. It was, as JR would say, bowling shoe ugly. It was, but
I didn't notice.
Yeah, I didn't notice because he went breaker.
Yeah, because he went right into the code breaker, so it just looked.
Yeah.
If it was a mess up, it looked natural because he just went right.
Yeah.
That's that Jericho. That veteran grit of his. Just knowing to just completely ignore it, go right into the next thing. It would have been cool to move, if he could have caught him and did the code breaker as part of, maybe that's the spot they were going for. There was no chance
of doing that because he was way off.
Yeah.
He was way off.
Right. So maybe that was it. Ortiz then attempts a Rana and gets countered into the walls of Jericho, or whatever they call it nowadays. I think that's still what it's called.
Yeah, I think they're still calling it the walls.
And Ortiz gets to the rope. Huge brawl breaks out with both the groups. Yuta, Wheeler, and Santana come down to even the odds. JR even makes mention of this. He's like, well, nice of you guys to show up now or something like that.
Where have you guys been?
Right. Also, rewind just a few minutes here right after that that cutter spot. They were talking about, they were trying to build up, the threat of Jericho getting his head shaved. And they were like, yeah, or I think Regal or, JR, someone was like, well, it's going to be hard for him to be a rock star with a bald head or something like that. And I'm just like thinking to myself, okay, Rob Halford off the top of my head. Michael Stipe, the dude from REM, Aaron Lewis, Fred Durst is bald now. I mean, you could be bald and be a rock star just off the top of my head, just trying to think.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was absurd. And it's like,
I gotta sell it.
I would expect that kind of thing out of Shivani. But that was something that Regal came up with. It was either Regal or JR that came up with that one. So
that was funny.
Maybe Shivani's not as... Shivani now I think is fine. Don't get me wrong. I think now he's fine. Because he doesn't do that whole shtick that he did in WCW. The whole, this is the greatest night in the history of our sport. Every single week. That's what got on my nerves with Shivani. But, He hasn't really gotten on my nerves in AEW so far. He
That's good.
stays out of the way. He's fine.
Good.
Now,
So something happened next that
right.
that I marked out for like crazy.
Well, the brawl breaks out. This allows Kingston to hit Jericho with a gimmick. Ortiz gets a near fall off of that. And then we get what we thought was a Fuego del Sol run in with a bat, costs Ortiz the match.
I was like, oh my God, Fuego is like being called up.
I'm like, this is so random. I'm like, why?
Fuego's in it to win it.
Yeah.
They had me.
But he takes off the mask and it's Sammy freaking Vara.
Fuego del Guevara.
Swerve of the
Sammy
century.
Del Sol?
Sammy Del Sol.
Sammy Del Sol, that's what we'll go with.
So he's back with Jericho, which I think is a great decision. You
Me
agree
too.
with that?
Yes, I love Les Sex Gods.
See, yeah, I don't know about that part of the promo.
That's their tag team name.
Oh, so that was that was before tonight.
Yeah. That's their tag
thing?
team name. They're Les Sex Gods. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well.
Yep.
They can call themselves whatever they will. I think this helps save Sammy a little bit. But yeah, no. But this is weird how it ends because usually, like, usually the face doesn't lose a hair versus hair match, right?
Nope.
So like this was different, but like, so they're backing up the ramp, Jericho and Sammy and everybody. Ortiz decides he's just going to cut his own hair, starts cutting
mutilates himself, dude.
Yeah.
He just mutilates himself. The razor, after he cuts the big parts, the razor, he just like digs it into his forehead till it bleeds. As he's screaming, blood, guts, blood. He's so crazy. He plays the crazy guy so good. When he separates from Proud and Powerful, he's gonna be a really great solo artist. Solo artist like he's a rock star. Singles wrestler.
Well, I can't wait to see that. Yeah, no, this was definitely different. It's a way that I'm sure that maybe they didn't even think about that until it came time to come up with the finish with that. Like, oh yeah, Ortiz is going to lose this. Oh yeah, how are we going to exactly do this? Because usually the heel loses and then the heel's got to be like put in a sleeper hold or, strapped to a chair or whatever they've done. Yeah. And, but they didn't have to do that here. So it was different. But, it is what it is. Not a bad way to kick off the show, I suppose. It gets this whole angle over. As messy as it got at times, I was fine with it.
Then there's this.
Well, they do a quick promo about the Sterling Wardlow thing.
Yes.
Out comes Wardlow. He's all jacked up. It's him versus the security guys.
Okay. Hold on.
Take us through this, Vito, because this is just kind of I wrote some stuff down, but I didn't really care.
Every Wednesday on Busted Open, Tony Khan goes on there and he hypes up Dynamite. All right.
Really? I did not know this.
Yeah. He said this morning that it's not elimination throw over the top rope. That's why when that first girl said that 1 and 2 have been eliminated and all he did is knock them off the rope. Did you hear her say that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, you barely heard it, but she said 1 and 2 has been eliminated. I don't even know if she got the full word out. And I was like, wait, what? But then later they said it again that 1 and 2 have been eliminated. But anyway, he said that he has to pin 20 guys, pin or submit 20 guys. That's what he said. And so I was like, sweet, he's going to be power bombing people left and right, pinning them 1, 2, 3 over and over again. So at first I thought it was just going to be a gauntlet, sending guys in. And I would have been so okay with that. That's not what we got.
No.
Brent, I was so looking forward to Braun. See, I keep calling them the wrong names. Wardlow versus the plaintiffs. Okay.
Right.
Do you have notes for this before I point out my notes?
I do, but
Because
I didn't really, like I said, it was just more like thoughts. It wasn't like a play-by-play
okay,
kind of a deal.
did you enjoy this match?
I I thought it was kind of a waste of time. It's like it's the
Yeah,
same thing we've seen with Wardlow for, forever. And I think, it's a holdover spot.
honestly, I think this is the worst Wardlow's ever looked,
Really? Wow.
in my opinion.
Okay.
Okay,
You think it was just like silly or what's like,
I'm gonna do what she did. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, first of all, Justin Roberts was not here tonight. Or
I,
yeah, tonight.
I did not notice.
Yeah, I noticed during this match because she said it a lot. Okay, now I'm gonna name some names. You're gonna remember them. Plaintiff 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12, and 13. Remember those guys? They were wearing the black shirts. Remember those guys?
Yeah,
Okay,
they were the dudes in there, yeah.
yeah, the black shirt guys. Those 7 guys, all their shoulders were pointing up.
So no shoulders down. There was
Yeah.
also guys that just like rolled out and were not even pinned. That happened like a couple times, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so when he was stacking them up, he just threw guys on the pile, wasn't even noticing how they were stacked. Those 7 guys were face down. I was like, what are you doing? You're not even trying. I was so disappointed in this match. It is ridiculous. The only thing that I actually liked about this, and I was going to go back and count the power bombs, but I totally forgot to do that. The only thing I liked about this was when she's, here is your winner, Wardlow, case dismissed. That is the only thing I really liked about this match.
It was an
Is she said
angle,
case dismissed.
I mean, it's an angle, you know what I mean? It was
7 dudes, Bran, face down.
not like a match, but yeah, no, I get your point. Absolutely.
Shame.
It's they can't, they don't know what they want to do with them right now, so this is just kind of a holdover, type deal.
Then someone, when he won, they said, what'd they say? Not sure what's next for this man. Sky's the limit. I was like, come on.
He's listed as like the number
You
3
gotta stop.
contender.
Yeah, well, we all know that the next guy is going to wrestle is Scorpio Sky. And they're like, oh, sky's the limit. And then, of
Right.
course,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's how that closes out.
the next thing.
We get Scorpio Sky and Lambert up there in the Sky box. They introduce Matt Hughes and Tyrone Woodley, who get
I'm a Matt Hughes fan.
both. I've watched both of these guys fight. The little UFC I've watched in my lifetime. I actually knew who these dudes were. They got kind of a lukewarm response. I guess they're native to the area, obviously.
They look
And
really awkward.
Lambert sicks them on to Wardlow, but instead they end up pushing Sterling into Wardlow, and they end up celebrating all 3 of them together. So
He's never getting out of that neck brace.
no, it's
He's
like
never-
it's like D'Lo Brown with the chest protector,
The chest
back in the
protector,
day.
yeah.
or
Yeah,
Owen with the cast for like
Yeah.
the 2 years he wore that cast, or Bob Orton.
I was gonna say Bob Orton with the cast.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
mean,
that neck brace is never coming off.
it's a gimmick, tale as old as time. We'll keep seeing
Yeah.
it. Next up, Vito, this was the stuff right here. Will
Man.
Ospreay, Dax Harwood.
And I had to look it up, but the Rev Pro title that Ospreay comes out with is the British Heavyweight Championship from Rev Pro.
Yeah, Rev Pro. Yeah. For sure.
And apparently, he is also the United States or Intercontinental Champion. I forgot to write it down.
IWGP US
The
title.
U.S. champion.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, that is right. I wrote it down somewhere else. We'll get to that later.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm really excited about that.
This match was awesome, Vito. Take us through this thing, because I came in, I got in a little bit late, probably about halfway through it. Just had to, do some stuff with the kids for a second. But
well, it starts out heavy and fast, man. Dax, I'll tell you this, Dax is a wrestler's wrestler. Man, he's technical, he's hard hitting, he's an all-around good wrestler. He's good tag team, he's good singles.
I was surprised by this pairing, but it ended up working out quite well.
Yeah. What's funny is he goes for the suplexes, and it's like he usually stop at 3, and in the middle they get the, Eddie, but he went to 5. So I was like, man, he took him to Suplex Town. I was like, it's not Suplex City,
Yeah.
He's like the commissioner of Suplex Town.
Yeah, Suplex Town.
So,
it's just, it's about 20 miles south.
Yeah.
Of Suplex City.
Yeah.
It's the suburb.
The near falls in this match were crazy intense, like the suplex reverse, the power bomb, stacked jackknife. Oh, dude,
they did
I was all over the place with my notes. I was like, oh.
They did a lot of stiff stuff.
Yeah,
it was stiff as hell.
Well, I was thinking, I was like, after I was going back and forth with all the reverses and stuff, I was like, man, they really got their finger on the reverse button, man. I was like, someone's got the reverse button down.
It's amazing that Ospreay is like, I don't know, like after watching this match and just after everything, and we'll get to, what happened afterwards here in a second, but
I have not seen him wrestle very many times, maybe less than 5 times.
Right.
He's a treat to watch.
Yes. I've only seen him a handful myself. But yeah, would definitely love to see more. And I'm surprised that he's not in the main event picture in the scheme of all this. And the match he ends up with is awesome, but rather strange, I thought.
Oh, yes. Awesome indeed. But one thing I want to say before we get to that is Ospreay's finish is the elbow Kinshasa.
Right.
Right?
He did one of his to the back of the head. It looked vicious.
Yeah, but isn't that what it is? It's like a Shinsuke's Kinshasa, but it's with the elbow.
Okay.
That's what it reminded me of.
I just called it a vicious elbow to the back of the head.
Yeah.
That's what I called it. Yeah. I didn't know what to call it. I was just like, that was a vicious ass elbow to the back of the head, and Ospreay, Ospreay ends up winning the match, right? Or before he got the pin, United Empire hit the ring, or what happened here? We get United Empire.
He got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
United Empire hit the ring.
Yeah, and then Chaos. All of Chaos.
RPG Vice, Cash Wheeler.
And they were still outnumbered. They needed one more guy. They needed just one more guy to even out those odds.
And that was the returning Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy, baby. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy is back.
He comes out to a huge pop. We get a freshly squeezed chant. This crowd was all over this match, by the way. I don't want to gloss over how, we enjoyed the match, but the crowd enjoyed this match even more.
This is awesome chants.
Yeah, two different AEW chants, two different This is awesome chants. They got the standing ovation during the rest spots. All the goods. Go back and watch this match if you're going to watch anything from
amazing.
This Dynamite, especially for the traditionalists out there, and you don't like the high spots matches. which we'll get to later. This was your wrestling, your old school fans match for sure. But then you get Orange Cassidy out there. Huge pop, like I mentioned. He goes face to face with Ospreay. Everyone backs up Orange. Everyone comes back to life, and then Ospreay hits the bricks. Now I wrote, guess this is a 5-on-5, but I'll go ahead and just say now they announced later during the main event, it's a IWGP US title match, Ospreay and Orange Cassidy.
That's right. Now, I wanted Bryan Danielson versus Ospreay. The world wanted Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay. I think he's injured. I think he messed up his knee, so he's not even going to be there. So I think they did the next best thing and gave us Orange Cassidy.
Well, no, I don't want a spoiler alert, but I heard, I don't know, maybe you've heard as well, but maybe you've heard that something beyond it. Last I read, and I can't even remember where I read this, so I don't know if it's accurate, but it said something about Danielson working with Sabre.
Oh.
That's.
Oh, I did hear something about that.
Yeah.
Is that who it is? All right.
So, Ospreay would have been cool, but him and Sabre would also be awesome. But we didn't get Danielson on this show, so we don't know anything about that as of yet. But I wouldn't write out Danielson yet, from what I've heard.
All right. I'm worried about that knee.
But as far as this Ospreay Orange Cassidy match, do you think this is a waste of Ospreay?
Nope.
Like, what are you thinking here? No, you think this is going to be good?
I do not underestimate Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
I love Orange Cassidy.
So this is going to be one of those matches where they do more than just the comedy spots. Then you're thinking.
Oh yeah, Orange Cassidy isn't just comedy.
Right. No,
he's a great wrestler.
I've seen him do actual matches too.
Yeah.
But then, it's kind of one of those things you never know. Is this going to be the comedy match, or is this going to be like a match?
I don't think Will Ospreay does those.
He's not doing a fucking comedy match, bro.
But it looked like to me that we're also going to get Chaos in United Empire at Forbidden Door.
So they throw the rest of the four.
The rest of them, yeah.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. Vito, this next segment was, I don't know, bro. I thought this next segment was an absolute mess. I don't even know where to begin.
Okay. I'll get us through this one. Okay. Because I have a huge problem. I did some research afterwards. I got a huge problem.
I hated this all. This was way too much at once.
Okay. So I love Tanahashi. Hiroshi. Yeah.
100%.
Tanahashi.
100%.
One of my favorites. One of the commentators called him the Japanese Bret Hart. Did you catch that? Japanese Bret Hart.
I did. I had always heard him akin to Shawn Michaels. Was what I had always heard. But
so John Moxley's promo. Nice. Moxley's promo was awesome. And he also agrees with me that he's the best.
Moxley did cut a great promo, but the whole time I'm thinking, like, how much of this is Tanahashi understanding?
That's what I was wondering too. The same thing. I was like, does he have like an earpiece in his ear?
Right.
Like,
yeah,
translating for him?
Earpiece translator. There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that, but maybe.
So I was like, so this match coming up is not just the battle for the interim championship. It's the battle for the ace.
Right.
Whoever wins is the ace.
This has been a match that has been held off for a long time, even with Moxley working in New Japan for years.
So I have another report from Busted Open this morning.
Okay.
Tony Khan admitted this morning that he's the reason that Tanahashi and Mox have missed all their matches for the last couple years
Oh, really?
because
So this was an actual quote because I read something
yes,
about this, but I didn't know.
yes, he
Um,
says the reason why they haven't done it is because he wanted a piece of it. He didn't want it to be without them. He wanted AEW to be part of it, and he didn't want it to be on strictly just New Japan uh, grounds, basically.
don't you
So
imagine the booking of this has had to have been like a huge undertaking? You know, you
yeah,
imagine like Tony calls on like Zoom calls with the NJPW people for like hours, and they're trying to like hash all this out.
yeah,
You know, it's got to be a huge undertaking, and but no, so Moxley's thing was great. Yes, he says once he beats him, he's gonna become the ace. Tanahashi goes to speak, he gets cut off by Jericho.
probably a good thing.
Well, right, because then it's just like, you know, you're kind of obvious that he's not speaking English or whatever. But then just complete chaos ensues. Jericho comes out and says that he wants to be in the match, but then oh wait, no, he doesn't. He ends up like making a 6-man tag team match
Yeah, can you
with
tell me
him
who's in
and
that
Suzuki.
six-man tag match?
I can tell you that his side is him and Suzuki and Sammy, and
Okay, is
they're
that what he said
facing.
while he was in the ring?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay,
And then they're fighting Kingston and couple NJPW guys that I didn't catch.
okay. Let me tell you
That's
what's
all I
actually going
know.
to happen. Okay,
All right.
I don't know how things got messed up. Okay, because first of all, Suzuki Gun, I thought Suzuki Gun this whole time. Didn't know.
Whatever, you know,
Uh,
potato.
so in your mind, from what Jericho said, it would be Jericho, Sammy, Archer, and Desperado, right?
See this, I don't know. Like he said like
Isn't
two
that what
different
was there?
things. He said two different things. He said yeah, he introduced uh Suzuki or whatever and Archer and whoever else was in there. He introduced
Suzuki
them.
Goon is Archer and Desperado. They're a tag team.
Right,
That's what I've gathered.
but they're stable. They're a state.
Yeah,
They're Suzuki's stable, which is like 5 or 6 dudes.
yeah, Minoru Suzuki's guys,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
he introduced them, but then he said the match was going to be like a 6-man. It was only him, Sammy, and Minoru Suzuki against Kingston and whoever. I didn't catch who the New
see,
Japan
that was
guys were.
weird. It's okay. I looked it up on Wikipedia, okay?
All right.
Because he was saying so much stuff, I didn't know what was going on. So you're right, it is Jericho, Sammy, and Minoru Suzuki against Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler,
Okay,
Kingston.
Shoju Namino. Wait, hold on. Shota Umino. Sorry, Shota
Okay.
Umino, which is also Red Shoe's son.
Right. I
Interesting
remember
fact.
he
Jericho
mentioned
made
that.
that
Yeah.
out, and Eddie Kingston. So it
Okay.
is a trios match.
Okay.
So Archer and Desperado have nothing to do with the match.
But so yeah, so why were they
Nothing.
even out there?
I guess they were
Just to
just
get
the
over
guys.
the fact that they were, you know, it was like it was so much confused, so much
They were just the
explaining.
guys who were there to represent Suzuki Gun, I guess. They're there to hook up, you know, represent Minoru Suzuki, I guess.
It was a lot to explain.
Yeah, he made it seem like they were going to be in the match. Yeah, that was. Yeah, there was so much.
Yeah, I'm
And
not
he
a fan
said
of
that
this.
He's like, oh, Sammy and Ty, you guys like to have sex all the time.
Yeah, no, and that was just like, that was another one of those, like,
Yeah.
earmuffs, kids, earmuffs.
Yeah.
I don't care if my kids hear, like, shit or whatever, I cuss like a sailor all day long. They hear it,
Yeah.
but, I just, it was cringy, the sex talk. Just, that's a personal guideline for me, but, I'm not everybody, you know what I mean? That's just my deal.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
Yeah. But it is what it is, that's what they're getting over with the whole, especially now that Sammy's joined back with Jericho. So,
Which I'm not for it.
no, it's
I'm
fine.
for it if he didn't have the other jabronis. If it was just Chris and Sammy
Right.
and Hager, cool. But him and the JAS with the other guys, I'm not with it.
Maybe that's where it eventually ends up. They just go back to being the inner circle again eventually.
There's a trios match right there.
You
Jericho, Sammy, and Hagar versus those other guys, 2.0.
Why doesn't Hager wrestle more? You know what I mean?
He just
It's
had
weird.
a good match last week, didn't he? Didn't he wrestle somebody like last week?
Yeah, last week was the first time
Wardlow,
I had
right?
seen him. No, he didn't wrestle Wardlow.
No. Who was it last week?
He was in something. He was in like a tag match, or I don't remember. But I know he's worked recently, and yeah, I remember thinking like, man, this is the former world champion right here. And eventually, maybe, hopefully, he'll be more than, just a bodyguard. Maybe that's money that they're saving for down the road, is that, split.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll help propel him to something else.
I like Sammy and Jericho, just don't like him appreciating Jericho.
Well, Kingston hits the ring. I don't know. They did a bunch of stuff. Mox and Tanahashi helped clear it with them. It was a huge mess. This didn't need to take up TV time, I don't think, but it is what it is. They could have found another way.
An announcement that was better explained by Excalibur than it was Chris Jericho.
There you go. I'm on board with that. Absolutely, Vito. Then we get a video spot for Darby versus Bobby Fish for Rampage. That should be fun. Tony Storm cuts a backstage promo about Britt Baker, says we've seen her enough.
Complaining about dentist.
Right.
That's all I got.
Says everyone wants to see Tony Storm as champ, which the jury's still out on that. But then we get Ethan Page versus Miro.
Canada versus Bulgaria.
Gotta love it. I was kind of disappointed when I saw that, because I knew Page wasn't going over. But I was happy that they didn't make it like a complete squash. It was more of a 50-50 match.
Also, there was a springboard middle rope cutter from the apron.
Yeah, well,
say that?
I detailed this one pretty good because I actually really liked this match because it was another old school type match. Paige locks up, backs out, doing the whole scared heel routine that you see at like every indie show you've ever seen. But you know what I mean?
Does this make Miro a face?
I was wondering that myself, and I was thinking like, okay, well, before he's been kind of heelish.
Yeah.
But they put him in this match, and he played the face in this match. 100%. Ethan Page was not the baby face by any means.
He's just a face monster. Where's he at? Is he mid? Was he just playing face because he's against Ethan Page?
Well, now they're doing this whole right. Now they're playing into the whole fate thing too. They mentioned that on commentary. That played into the end of the match. Basically, they worked the arm. Paige worked the arm. Miro sold it for a bit, then kind of in the middle of the match, kind of forgot about it. Like I said, I took a bunch of notes, but I don't really want to go through all of them. Well, also, I thought it was interesting. Miro did the Sheamus spot with the clubs to the chest. You catch that?
I guess. I guess I missed it.
He did the Sheamus rope spot, and I was like, Like, I don't think I've seen Sheamus do that spot in a while, so maybe he gave him that spot. He gave
it up?
Maybe he did. But Paige did a pretty damn good job here.
A pint.
Right, there you go. Now, the end of this match, like I was saying, Paige clasps Miro's hands together, tells him to pray, and that makes Rusev go completely Hulkamania. He hits a flurry of moves, leads to the big kick, and what do they call it now? It used to be called the Accolade. Now it's,
Game over.
Game over. Okay.
You know what's really funny? I looked down at my notes when you said Rusev, and I had wrote Rusev.
Oh my God. I did say Rusev, didn't I? Miro goes all Hulkamania.
But what's funny is I have Paige versus Rusev, but right below it, I have Miro wins.
He's just,
man.
burnt the WWE, dude. They burn it into your brain. That name.
But I have both names written down right here.
Right. So do I.
Paige versus Rusev, and then 2 lines below it, I have Miro wins.
I have Miro through all the notes until that last little bit, and I say Rusev. Just
That's
like
hilarious.
not even thinking about it, like subconsciously.
That's hilarious. Damn you, Vince.
They do a Matt Sydal, Dante Martin promo. Dante's facing Mox on Rampage. Makes sense. They're the same wrestler, just 20 years apart, basically, I think.
Sure. All right.
That's my take on it anyway.
Dante Martin and John Moxley?
No. Dante and Matt Sydal. I thought you were commenting on them being together.
No. They've been together this whole time, except for
really?
They've been off and on.
Okay.
It's
the first time I've seen Sydal in a long time.
The relationship between Dante Martin and Matt Sydal is so long. I guess that according to if you put it in long-term, they'd have a storied history. Because he was with him before he went to Team Taz for a minute and got tricked them.
Oh yeah,
and, he was with him before his brother came back for a hot second, and then his brother left again, and now he's back with Sydal. It's really weird. Their relationship has gone up and down and up and down. But I thought it was really weird his promo saying that I can't even remember. I didn't write it down because it was so awkward to me. Something like you're the best, and now I'm gonna beat you up so I can be the best. I didn't understand it. It was weird. Did you write anything down for it?
No, I just basically said that that Sydal and him had a promo backstage where they he's facing Mox on Rampage this week. Should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. I didn't understand his promo.
We get Britt Baker versus Tony Storm. Take us through this, Vito. I did not really take notes here.
First of all, I'm calling Rebel and Hater her dental assistants. So I'm going with that now. So Baker came out with her dental assistant.
Yeah. They should have the getup. They should have the dentist, the smocks.
Yeah, Rebel will do that. Hater ain't doing that. I guarantee that. That thing, before I go anything about that, Hater and Britt Baker have had this weird, awkward frenemy type thing where she's like the lackey, but she doesn't always want to be the lackey type thing. And it's been going on for way too long because they've been kind of teasing it, but I think they've been milking it for too long.
Hopefully they get to that soon. Yes.
Yeah.
That story arc.
So there was It was a good, solid. I liked it. It was good, solid action. One thing happened that Britt Baker was doing the possum thing.
Right.
She did it for way too long.
Well,
There's an art to playing possum, and you don't play it for way too long, and she did.
it was
And when she came out of it, it was like all she did was like flip her hair a little bit. Did you notice that?
right.
It was weird. She didn't like go all the way in for like eye poke or anything. She like flung her hair and then grabbed her up. But I don't know.
Now in the middle of this, her dental assistants were chased off by the one and only
Sandbag.
No Cella Rosa. Which
That's a good one.
Let's break into this real quick.
I just put Sandbagger here.
See, there you go. Sandbagger, No Cella Rosa.
No Cella Rosa. I like that one better.
We talked about this last week, Vito. I went on a whole rant about how she didn't sell a damn thing.
Nope.
And then this comes out on like a tweet gets liked apparently by Britt Baker and Marina Shafir, where someone just basically called out this exact same I was talking about.
And then someone put out the footage of the different spots in the match where she just straight up sandbagged her.
Right.
Straight up.
She did an interview with someone last couple days and completely denies the whole thing, of course.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, no, she denied the whole thing and just, she plays, I mean, what is she going to say, really? But yeah, no, she did do a radio interview within the last couple days and, try to dispel the rumors, try to mop up a little bit. But
I'll have to look for that.
Tony,
but Storm wins.
Storm goes over.
And they called it a spike pile driver.
Yeah, you can't spike someone unless you have help, right?
Yeah, no, spike pile driver is someone coming off the middle rope that's a tag team move?
Yes.
So
double team.
Yeah.
Well, and then Rosa comes back out. I was
kind of surprised. Were you surprised by Toni Storm winning?
Not exactly. I mean, especially after the Thunder Rosa run in, I just kind of automatically assumed that, yes, this is the setup match for her next opponent. Yeah. And I didn't really see them doing her and Britt again. So, so Tony goes over. Thunder Rosa comes back out, holds up the belt on the ramp or whatever, and they do their stare down. And so we're apparently going to get that match.
Yep, Thunder versus Storm.
Now, this probably won't be at Forbidden Door, you think, right? I mean, this will be like a TV match, you imagine?
Well, find out later in the night. That's not so true.
I may have missed that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we'll discuss that later on.
Well, then we get a Hangman promo. He says last week he challenged Okada. Okada ended up losing the title.
He said, I'm a dumbass.
Yeah. And then he gets interrupted by Adam Cole.
Oh, man.
This sets up Jay White attacking Paige from behind.
Hits him with the Blade Runner.
Yeah.
You know what I like about when Hangman comes out? JR says the same thing all the time.
The cowboy shiznit.
You ready for some cowboy shiznit? Oh, man. When did they change the IWGP Heavyweight title?
That was this past weekend at Dominion, I think was the event name. Like it just happened over the weekend. So yeah, that was the whole deal.
What?
Jay White.
No, I mean, like, when did they change the look of it?
Okay.
Is that when they changed it?
Okay.
Oh.
So this title is not the IWGP Championship. This is the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. See, what happened was the IWGP Championship right now is frozen. It's kind of like what happened
Kota,
with Punk.
it's
Yes.
Kota Ibushi is still the champ technically,
Yes.
right?
Yes. This is
Okay.
it's more of an interim title. What
Okay,
Jay White
good,
has.
because that thing looks like the old Divas title.
Right. Yeah.
I do not like that at all.
It's
Hopefully
kind
when
of
Kota
weird.
Ibushi comes back,
It's like the
other one
flying
comes
V of
back.
championships.
Yeah, it's so ugly.
Jay White cut a great promo after, he was great tonight, but after he won the belt at Dominion, he cut a great promo. If you haven't seen it, I'd suggest chasing that down. It was good stuff. One of those New Japan media scrum promos.
Yeah.
Jay
White is as good as closing out a New Japan show as Cody is cutting promo at the end of an AEW show back in the day. Or Kenny was closing out a New Japan show back in the day.
Yeah. Well,
good closers.
White ends up attacking Page. Jay says he's not wrestling Page, but says he's not wrestling Cole either.
He walked by and dissed him.
He walks out, completely no-sells Cole's existence on his way out.
He didn't mention who he was going to wrestle, though.
They didn't mention either. So what do you think, Vito? Predictions. What happens here?
I don't know. Maybe he's not in a singles match. Maybe he's in a big match. Maybe it's Bullet Club Bullet Club Super Elite, like you said. Or next week, Kenny Omega comes back and they announce Kenny Omega versus Jay White for the New Japan title.
See, there you go.
Bam! Book it, Tony.
I don't know. I'm trying to think, and I really can't think of anybody. I can't think of anything really better than this with what, especially if Danielson's already doing whatever. And, there's really nothing else. I kind of see this as just being like a decoy sort of thing, possibly. And they just end up doing a triple threat anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's what they've built. This whole angle has been built already. It would be weird for this to just turn into a different match, I think.
Yeah.
So somehow Hangman and Cole force the issue and make Jay White take the triple threat match. That's my prediction.
Ooh. Triple threat match. All right.
Three-way dance, whatever you want to call it, whatever they call it nowadays, the kids out there. Well,
okay.
Here we go, Vito. Main event time. Right? Bucks.
All right, Brandon.
Bucks, Jurassic Express.
And not the Hardy Boys.
Not the Hardy
Boys. About
Boys.
why. Here we go. For the last couple of weeks, me and the brand have been doing this YouTube channel, and we've been talking about Dynamite, and we've been talking about the same thing every week. One man has gotten real slow and real not great looking in his action. We've been talking about Dynamite. We talked about it on Double or Nothing. Jeff Hardy has taken a dip. We're talking about retirement. And apparently he doesn't care. He doesn't care about his in-ring work. He doesn't care about his life. He doesn't care about anything. So he got arrested for drunk driving and driving illegally. So he wasn't there tonight. He's off the deep end.
They pull him from the match. They announce that he's suspended, on their, press releases and socials.
On Tony's Twitter.
Right. But they don't mention anything about it on the show. Just all of a sudden, they're not in the match. It was
always supposed to be Young Bucks and Jurassic Express in a 2-on-2 ladder match. They Chris Benoit the hell out of the Hardy Boys tonight.
Bro, I've thought a lot about this since it happened. And first and foremost, we all hope Jeff gets better, obviously, right?
I hope he does take the rehab that Tony gives him.
Without saying.
He comes back Mox style.
And there's so much back and forth on this, you know what I mean? You have people, the internet has just been a toxic place over this, people making fun of him over it, which I think is just totally inappropriate. You have your pro WWE people that are like, see, I told you he needed to go to rehab, and to me, all that stuff is like neither here nor there. You can sit there and debate it all day long. Who was right, who was wrong, and that whole matter. The fact of the matter is, Jeff is in AEW now, and now he's having these problems again, like confirmed. So, it's tough, man. It's tough to see. It's one of those things, though, where we've all been through this with someone or another, right? You can't, people talk about how, you have to have like a good, support system around you, when you have someone that's trying to stay sober and this and that. But we all know
addiction's a bitch.
The real world is the real world, right?
Yeah.
And I've been in this situation before where I've had people around me in recovery and this and that and the other thing, or just whatever, people that have other problems. And it becomes a thing where you do want to be that helping hand for the person, but then you also, at the same time, can't be their father. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like kind of do it. That's in the position that like Matt is in. And stuff, like people asking like, how could Matt let this happen? How can Tony let this happen? You can't be someone's
Jeff's a
father
grown-ass man
there all the time. You know what I mean? You just can't
he's a
do that.
grown-ass man.
So, I don't know, man. I just hope he gets better.
All right. So the Hardys are not in this match. Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express in a laddered match. Actually, did you see that the ring was surrounded by tables?
They didn't even mess around and try to hide it. They're like, we're gonna do some shit here.
It was a TL match.
Right. We got the T's and the L's. We didn't get any C's.
Yep. Not till later.
We did get some C's later on, but speaking of C's, Christian Cage stays back and doesn't come to the ring. A lot of stuff happens here, Vito, but I'm going to do the best I can to recap it. Luchasaurus takes a stiff ladder drop kick to the guardrail. Jungle Boy and Nick do an awesome flippy spot that leads to a Rana off the ladder on Nick. No mention of Jeff Hardy, of course. Matt does the locomotion trios onto the ladder, onto Jungle Boy. Nick does a fancy dive to the outside onto Saurus. By the way, do you think Luchasaurus is perhaps related to the Funkasaurus by chance?
I think I hadn't thought about that, but now that you mention it, I think that's totally possible. I did want to throw a couple of things in there while you're moving along.
Yeah.
I like how Luchasaurus can break through a double clothesline. He does it in every match. It's like one of his spots.
Don't even try the double clothesline. Yeah. Man. Just don't even try it.
There's one thing I really don't like when Jungle Boy wrestles. I hate when JR calls him Jungle Boy Jack Perry. That's not his name.
Yeah.
His name is Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
JR sounds like a smart, a smart fan because he knows his real name. That's what I always get. It's like, oh, you know his real name? Good for you. His real name's Jack. Congratulations.
Could be one of those soft transitions, too. Maybe eventually he doesn't want to be Jungle Boy.
He's been calling him that since the very first day.
Right.
It's always bugged me. I was like, his name's, he's never called himself Jack.
Right.
He's always called himself Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I think it's because he knew Luke Perry. And he's like, well, I just want to make sure everyone knows that his last name's Perry and his first name's Jack.
90210,
that
baby.
Bugs me. Yeah. So Dylan McKay, right?
Yeah.
Anyway. 90s kids right here.
Yeah.
So I got an idea, okay?
All right.
I think for if you're going to put vacant tag titles, okay, follow me here.
Okay.
Vacant tag titles. I think you should put a bunch of dudes in the ring with a ladder in the middle and the tag tiles above. And then not tag teams. Just make it like a bunch of dudes. Oh, I guess you can put tag teams, but one guy can get one belt, right?
Right.
So
Whoever gets the belts.
The first two guys to get belts are the champions.
Okay.
Could be interesting, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What if a heel and a face both gets a belt? Because once you get a belt, you have to get down. You can't touch that other belt. Someone else has to come up and get that other belt.
I used to like one of the few things that I thought was cool about Impact or whatever over the years is when they do the Feast or Fired.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
And you'd have like the 4 or 5 different briefcases, and it was always like something random or whatever. But yeah, maybe they could do that. That I have like 4 briefcases. 2 of them have tag team titles. The other 2 have like contracts or whatever.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you just get a random pairing, of a tag team that won them through the briefcases.
And I thought it was cool when Jungle Boy walked up the ladder. You catch that?
Well, he is
like they threw him into it, and he just kind of did like this cool little step thing up it. I enjoyed that.
Well, he is the Jungle Boy, so he's got to do
Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Kind of like how Adam how Adam Page does cowboy shit. He does jungle shit.
Jungle shit
is what he does.
Oh man.
Now Matt hits. Matt Jackson goes through a I don't even know.
Hold on a second.
Matt Jackson
right
threw
here.
a table. Jungle Boy threw a table. Okay, yeah, that's what it was.
Yes,
simultaneous tables.
It was table. I wrote it all out here.
Okay.
Just this spot I wrote out. Okay. So Luchasaurus throws Jungle Boy into Matt for her Corona through the table outside. Goes over there and goes to throw Jungle Boy into Nick for her Corona outside, but gets powerbombed on the table for his troubles.
Yeah.
So Nick comes inside on a high of powerbombing Jungle Boy, gets a destroyer for his troubles.
Yeah.
And then Luchasaurus gets outside onto a table and gets a 450 for his troubles.
It was just table.
First I wrote here table, destroyer, table. But then I put underneath that who did what.
Some kind of deranged Morse code. Table, Canadian destroyer, table.
And then we're in picture, right? Doesn't that take us the commercial?
Yes.
That 450.
They hit a swanton on Jungle Boy on a bridge ladder. They set up the 4 table stack. I guess this was during the break.
Yeah.
And the Bucks dominated for pretty much the whole break, is what I put.
Bulldog drop kick. Did you see that?
I didn't catch that. No.
Is that a spot they do? It's like Nick. I think it was Nick. Grabbed him and grabbed Jungle Boy.
Oh, that's right. He had his head, and then the drop kick. That was new.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was very cool.
I love that. Yeah. Another thing I want to point out before we go any further.
Okay.
Do you know Kip Sabian?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard about the box on the head thing?
I have not. Is it a BT
have you seen
deal?
No. It's supposed to be him trying to, I don't know what it is exactly, but rumor is Kip Sabian wears a box on his head at ringside. Have you seen the guy with the box on his head at ringside? It says something on the front of it, something like it's not a gimmick or overrated or something like that. But it's supposedly Kip Sabian, but the guy who was wearing it tonight was way too big to be Kip Sabian. Just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
But look into that. Look into the Kip Sabian box on the head thing.
He was one of the box men's messengers.
Maybe. Check it
Um,
out.
So we get back from the break. Luchasaurus takes over, hits a choke slam on Nick on the ladder, does a huge dive to the outside on Matt. We get the dual ladders set up, and they start doing those spots. Luchasaurus is the last guy standing from that, but he still gets the Bucks bomb onto a ladder. Poison Rana on Jungle Boy, which fulfills our at least one Poison Rana quota on the show.
Is that the one that was a super kick to Poison Rana?
There may have been a super kick prior hand. It was the only one I think was in the match.
Yeah,
so.
super kick to Poison Rana combo. It was amazing.
Well, Matt Jackson
I love the Poison Rana.
Then hits a flying elbow to Luchasaurus on the table outside. Randy Savage-esque. And Ross even said that. I think it was Ross that said that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally thought that, and he said it, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Now, Matt's climbing the ladder. He gets his shoe taken off by Jungle Boy as he climbs the ladder. Yep, he loses the shoe. Jungle and Nick face off as they climb. Matt makes a comeback, though. They tease a BTE trigger on top of the ladder.
So sad that didn't happen.
I was marking out.
Trigger.
I was marking
Jungle
out
Boy
hard.
would have made such a good fall off of that.
Right? Oh, that would have been brutal. But it doesn't happen. Bucks instead take a bump off the ladder. Now, I thought they were going through the tables, but they didn't quite make it.
They were too far away, yeah.
Yeah, so then they knock Jungle Boy off his ladder, and then they just completely reset. But then Lucha scales the ladder, and he ends up taking the crazy bump through the stacked up tables. That
looked good.
Yes, these were two tables. For you audio listeners out there, we had a stack of two. Well, we had two tables next to each other, and then two tables on top of that. So the classic Public Enemy setup.
And Luchasaurus went through all of them, broke all but. Yes. I wrote down broke 3.5 tables.
He takes a huge crazy bump through all the tables. I don't know, somewhere in here they did the announcement with the Cassidy Osprey thing for Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there Nick starts bleeding. Not sure.
From the mouth, I think.
Mouth and nose.
Yeah.
But the Bucks,
they also
folks,
announced
they went back
to
belts.
They also announced Thunder and Storm right there too.
Okay, I missed that.
When they say Osprey and Orange Cassidy for the title, they also say Thunder and Storm. Which, when this first was announced, they asked the leader of the Japan people if this was going to be a crossover with Stardom, and they said no. There's not going to be no women on the pay-per-view. Okay. So then they just add Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm. So
they'll represent the women, but no Japanese women.
Yeah.
At least that we know of.
Yeah, which is good, because if they didn't put any women on this pay-per-view, there'd be a total riot.
Well, Vito, Bucks win the belts. They have a huge celebration.
They beat the E-Trigger, Jungle Boy, and then both climb the ladders with no problems.
They get the belts, and then we get a big turn.
Yep.
We get the Christian Cage turn. He comes down. He helps up Luchasaurus. He goes into the ring to help up Jungle Boy, and he's about to help him out of the ring, and pulls him back in. Hit some sort of move. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
hit him with kill switch.
Oh yeah, that's right. His freaking finishing move, Brent. Come on.
It's the unprettier kill switch.
Right. Whatever you want to call it, he hits his move on Jungle, does the self-concerto to him right there in front of his sister and mom.
They cry.
They weep.
It was pretty weird. He got down, he was yelling in his face and wiping his hair out of his face and stuff.
Then he covers him with his jacket and celebrates, and that's how we go off the air.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking?
It finally happened, man.
Lose your title, lose your legend.
You know,
Okay,
I'm
so
glad they're going to be doing something else with Christian Cage. Are we on the same page with that? I mean, I think he's being
I agree.
underutilized.
I think we're gonna see Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy, and I'm all for that 100%.
You know, Cage
Give me that.
was main event in pay-per-views with Kenny just a year or so ago, a couple years ago,
for the Impact title.
and now you know, he's just been kind of a bit player. So yes, I hope they do something good with him. The Jungle Boy program will be a nice start.
Now, let's run down the Forbidden Door as we sit here on June 15th. We are
Lay it on me, Vito.
11 days away from the card, right? 11 days.
Yep, not this Sunday, but the Sunday after. So we literally have one more Dynamite before the show.
We got Thunder Rosa versus Tony Storm for the AEW Women's Championship. We got Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy for the IWGP United States Championship. We got Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki versus Kingston Yuta and Shota Umino. I'm messing that last name up.
Shota Umino.
And then we have a 4-way for the AEW All Atlantic Championship. Not sure who's all in that one.
Right.
We'll figure that out next week. Then we got the main event so far that we know of. It's Mox versus Tanahashi. A couple years in the making for the interim AEW Championship. So that's all we got so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches.
Card's shaping up pretty well. We know there'll be something with the Bucks and all them. We know there'll be something with Jay White. Yeah. Hopefully, maybe we get the Danielson Sabre thing.
Sabre Jr. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's going to be another stacked card, of course. And yeah, I can't believe we're only.
I did learn something.
One more Dynamite away.
I don't know if I sent this link to you, but did you hear that the AAA guys can't be at Forbidden Door?
I did see that. Yes, that was
anyone who wrestles for AAA can't wrestle for New Japan because there's like a beef. Mexico and Japan are beefing.
Well, no, I think New Japan's in bed with CMLL or something like that. So because of that relationship, they can't have AAA guys. Because
is that what it is?
AAA and CMLL are like the classic rival promotions in Mexico. Yes, I believe that's.
Oh.
I believe that's basically the story. Yes, because that's why Andrade.
Oh, so it's only AAA. It's not all of Mexico.
I don't think it's all of them. No, I think it has something to do with CMLL and.
Because they said it was Andrade and Lucha Brothers are the ones who can't be there. So. Yeah, and they all work for AAA. So
it's weird. The politics of pro wrestling continue after all these years.
That is weird because Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti are the mixed tag champions in AAA. Right? And they're both going to be at Forbidden Door.
Interesting. So who's working who here then?
I don't know.
I want to know, damn it.
Tony's getting a piece of it no matter what. That's all he cares about.
I'll have to do some digging and get back on that because yes, that's definitely a huge plot hole. I mean, they're technically not AAA talent, so maybe that's how they get around that. Even though they're like, because it's the same thing. Well, FTR dropped the belts, I think, but they're still.
No, they're still champs.
Oh, they're still AAA champs?
Yeah, they're still AAA and Ring of Honor
champions. Well, there you go, too. So, yeah, that's the same deal with FTR. They're the AAA tag team champions, so they're letting them work the show. But I guess they don't necessarily control them. AEW controls them. They're just brought in for appearances. They're paid per appearance, I guess.
All right, Brand. Let's rate this show like we do.
Let's rate it and wrap it up, Vito. You know, overall, I don't know, man. The main event, spot show, but I loved it. Ethan Page, Miro, I thought was a nice old school match. Ospreay Harwood was a nice hard-hitting affair. It opened up with the hair versus hair match. So, I mean, there was 4 solid matches on here and some other stuff. So I'm going to give it 4 1/4. I think it was that good.
Wow, 4 1/4.
It was damn good. Four solid matches. And then 5 even if you want to count the women. The women was decent too. So, yes, 4 1/4. Maybe stretch it to 4 1/2, but I think this is as good as it gets for a weekly show, probably, except for the messy promo with Jericho. But other than that, I thought it was a good show.
I think the Wardlow versus the Plaintiffs was so damn disappointing.
That was that was a low point.
And the whole Jericho thing. I don't even remember Mox and Tanahashi having a face-off because Jericho ruined the whole thing. The rest of it was great. I'm going to give it a 4. I'm not going above 4 because of Wardlow and Jericho.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I mean...
the shoulders have to be pointed down, Brand. I don't care if you're 4 guys up. I don't care if you're 4 guys up. Shoulders have to be pointed down. You can't have guys face down.
Lie to me, Tony. Lie to me. Angles were not great, but match action was awesome. That's kind of how I'll sum it up.
Top notch.
Matches were great. Angles were messy. We need to clean up those angles headed in. But, only 3 more shows they got to get through. 1 more Dynamite, 2 more Rampages. And then they can just kind of wash this Forbidden Door build. Because I bet it's just been hectic organizing it all. It really has. As great as it is, I bet Tony Khan's probably just losing his mind. But
yeah, well, a lot of things have probably gone wrong.
Yes, that too.
Especially with CM Punk getting injured.
There you go. That too, absolutely. Well, Vito... what do we want him to do, buddy? We want him to check out Vito TV, right? Like and subscribe
Vito TV.
On this video. If you are watching this video on YouTube, head over and check out Pro Wrestling Planet Podcast on Spotify. That's where you can follow it for the audio pleasure. Is there anything else?
There's a lot of other stuff you can listen to too.
Yes. You can do that while you're listening to your juggalette music, whatever you want to do there on Spotify. But I believe that's it. Until next week, Vito, it's been a pleasure, my man. I'll see you next week. Too sweet it. Let's get out. Ow.
Bam.
Woo.